Hey guys, welcome back to Click Academics. In today's video, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to solve this algebraic equation. So I have m to the power of 2 minus m to the power of 3 is equal to 12. Now for our solution, we want to find the value of m. So we start with m squared minus m to the power of 3 is equal to 12. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract both sides by 12. So now I have m squared minus m to the power of 3 minus 12 is equal to 0. Now I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 1. So now I have negative 1 times m squared minus m to the power of 3 minus 12 is equal to 0 times negative 1. Now, negative 1 times m squared, well, the negative 1 actually distributes with all our terms in the parentheses. Negative 1 times m squared is negative m squared. Negative times negative is positive, so negative 1 times negative m to the power of 3 is positive m to the power of 3. And negative 1 times negative 12 is positive 12. And this is equal to 0 times negative 1 is 0. Now I'm going to go ahead and rearrange this into highest degree to lowest degree. So m to the power of 3 is the highest degree, so that's going to be first. M squared is next, and then 12 is last. Now I'm going to be trying out values of m. So let's first try out positive and negative 1. So if m is positive 1, I have 1 to the power of 3 minus 1 squared plus 12 is equal to 0. 1 to the power of 3 is 1, minus 1 squared is 1, plus 12 is equal to 0. 1 minus and negative 1 cancel out, so I have 12 is equal to 0. And this is wrong. So m cannot equal positive or negative 1. Now I'm going to try positive and negative 2. So now, first, positive 2, 2 to the power of 3, minus 2 squared, plus 12 is equal to 0. 2 to the power of 3 is 8, so I have 8, minus 2 squared is 4, plus 12 is equal to 0. 8 minus 4 is 4, so I have 4 plus 12 is equal to 0, and 16 is equal to 0. This is wrong, so positive 2 doesn't work. Now for negative 2, I have negative 2 to the power of 3 minus negative 2 squared plus 12 is equal to 0. Negative 2 to the power of 3 is negative 8. And negative 2 squared is positive 4, so I have minus 4 plus 12 is equal to 0. Negative 8 minus 4 is negative 12, so I have negative 12 plus 12 is equal to 0. Negative 12 plus 12 is 0, so I have 0 equals 0, and this is right. So m is equal to negative 2. And this is just one solution. Now, from here, now that I have one value of m, because I know m is equal to negative 2, this must mean that m plus 2 is equal to 0, right? So now I'm going to divide out m to the power of 3 minus m squared plus 12 with m plus 2. Because we already know that m plus 2 equals 0. So now if I use synthetic substitution, well, we first have to look at the coefficients here. We have a 1, a negative 1, and this is 0. So I have 1, negative 1, and 0. And we have m plus 2, which is negative 2. Now I'm going to first bring down this 1. Now negative 2 times 1 is negative 2, so I have negative 2. And negative 1 plus negative 2 is negative 3. Now negative 2 times negative 3 is 6, and 0 plus 6 is 6. Now negative 2 times 6 is negative 12. So I bring down the negative 12, and we have, or sorry. This is actually supposed to be 12 because we have a 12 at the end here. Negative 2 times 6 is negative 12. 12 plus negative 12 is 0. So this is going to be m squared minus 3m plus 6, because 1, negative 3, and 6. And this is equal to 0. So now I have m plus 2 times m squared minus 3m plus 6 is equal to 0. And this gives us two equations. We have m plus 2 is equal to 0, and we have m squared minus 3m plus 6 is equal to 0. Well, we already know our value for m with this. We know that m is equal to negative 2. We already know that is one solution. Now for m squared minus 3m plus 6, we are going to be using the quadratic formula, which is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So in this case, a is equal to 1, b is equal to negative 3, and c is equal to 6. So now I have negative 6 plus or minus the square root of negative 6 squared minus 4 times 1 times 6 all over 2 times 1. Now I have negative 6 plus or minus the square root of negative 6 squared is 36 minus 4 times 6 is 24 all over 2 times 1, which is 2. Now I have m is equal to negative 6 plus or minus the square root of 36 minus 24 is 12 over 2. Now the square root of 12, well 12, this is equal to 6 times 2. 6 is equal to 3 times 2. So the square root of 12 would equal 2 root 3. So now I have m is equal to negative 6 plus or minus 2 root 3 over 2. Now if I divide these by 2, I get m is equal to negative 3 plus or minus, these two cancel out, so square root of 3. So this on top of m is equal to negative 2. So these are my three values of m. Alright, so in this video, I'm going to be solving the equation x to the power of 3 is equal to x to the power of 5. So my only variable in this equation is x, so that's what I'm going to be solving for. And now for my solution, I'm going to rewrite my equation down here so I have a little more solving space. So my equation x to the power of 3 is equal to x to the power of 5. And what I'm first going to do is subtract x to the power of 5 on both sides. So these two cancel out, and I get x to the power of 3 minus x to the power of 5 is equal to 0. Now, from here, x to the power of 5 is the same thing as x to the power of 3 plus 2. And an important property of exponents is that if I have something in the form a to the power of m plus n, this is equal to a to the power of m times a to the power of n. So x to the power of 3 plus 2 is going to equal x to the power of 3 times x to the power of 2. And now I'm going to factor out x to the power of 3. So I get x to the power of 3 times 1 minus x squared. So now this gives me two equations. I get x to the power of 3 is equal to 0, and I get 1 minus x squared is equal to 0. So for x to the power of 3 equals 0, I'm going to take the cube root on both sides. So I get the cube root of x to the power of 3 is equal to the cube root of 0. The cube root of x to the power of 3 is x, and the cube root of 0 is 0. So x equals 0 is one solution. Now for 1 minus x squared equals 0, I'm going to rewrite this as negative x squared plus 1 is equal to 0. And now I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 1. So negative 1 times negative x squared plus 1 is equal to x squared minus 1. And 0 times negative 1 is 0. So I get x squared minus 1 equals 0. And 1 is the same thing as 1 squared. So I have x squared minus 1 squared is equal to 0. And if I have something in the form a squared minus b squared, this is equal to a plus b times a minus b. So this is equal to x plus 1 times x minus 1 is equal to 0, meaning I get two equations, x plus 1 equals 0 and x minus 1 equals 0. For x plus 1 equals 0, I get x equals negative 1. And for x minus 1 equals 0, I get x equals 1. So notice how we have three equations for this equation. Notice how we have three solutions for this equation.